Good morning. Good morning. I'm on fire, you guys. I'm on fire. I'm listening. I know it looks like, this month, by the way, my computer tells me, or my thing tells me that I've got 9 new members. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you thought that we were going to be, doing a lot of hemming and hawing on the Bible, the way you're used to hearing it, you may want to rethink where you're going here. Because what we do is we actually read the Bible correctly. And in the process of figuring out a code that runs between, or runs underneath, practically all writings on earth that have anything to do with God, outside of these man-made faiths like Islam and what is that group there that has all those wives, the Mormons and stuff like that, and all churches, this Church of Scientology, this is like crap, Woo, my God. Well, anyways, that's what we're here to talk about. We try to cut through the garbage here and show you what's the hype all about. What's so great about our Bible? My goodness, people have died for it. So, all kinds of things have happened. The world is basically shaped around some kind of, we're trying to mimic it, We want to kill as many people as God kills in here. We want to, He gives us the right to have slavery and treat women like shit and hate fags and, oh my God, all those wonderful things of life. Oh my God, and we kill for this. Absolutely kill for it. Well, the Bible tells you about this, all right? That's what we're into. And this is what we do here, is we try to pull the sense out of the Bible and put the sense back into these people's head that can hear it. Because we've learned that if we can tune our ears to this, which is what I do when I teach. If I was on a blackboard or something, if you follow along with me in the Bible, then it's something that your eyes get practice at what you're seeing. But listen, and then the understanding comes from the heart. Oh my God, bam, something beautiful happens to you. It shows you're on the right track, and it starts to put you on the right track. Because let me tell you, in order to be on the right track these days, you literally have to stop. While everything's in motion, you have to stop and literally turn your mind in the opposite direction of where you're going. Just, that's it. It sounds like a pretty hard thing to do. For those of us that have tried it and keep practicing and going on, it's not so tough at all. It doesn't cost you anything. You just sit still and be patient. It's all that we do. But on the other side, you think that, hey, I've got God in me, I'm connected to the Lord through the Catholic faith. I'm connected to the Lord through the Baptist faith. I'm connected to the Lord through the Episcopal faith. And I'm connected to the Lord by God knows what. But anyways, it's Bible-backed business, and it's fundamentalism, where everyone is still reading off the top of the Bible, and it gives them over 5,000 different ways to make bread. All right, and I'm speaking in symbolism. I'm going to tell you what we feed off of. This idea of feeding your mind this or feeding your mind that. What happens with this wonderful stuff? But anyways, let's get right into it, because I don't want to take forever, and I have tons of things to do. But this is so much funner. I ran across it. It was almost like put in front of me in some ways. Luke 21. Okay, we're looking at the number 3 again. This is about connecting or not connecting. This is, it turns out that this whole scripture here once I started writing it, it's not about connecting at all. It helps actually to answer some of the questions that you and me have with this law and with God. And how come why is this? Why is it hidden? You know? And of course, one of my subscribers asked just this thing, and of course we all do, is that, why is God's word hidden from us? All right. But anyways, what I wanted to tell you about is that in this, there's a reference that goes over to another story in Romans. All right, Romans 11:25, and it talks about this drought. It's just not easy. We're just going to have to start reading. What we get out of it is, it seems as if there is it's not so much of a trick, but when you're born, and then they said they lay their hands on you, and next thing you know, you're being brought up to the synagogues, and you're being made, certain things. It's about the death of the mother and the father. It's about, losing this part of us, and being introduced to the kings and queens of the land. And of course, then the fornications and stuff that come about from that is that then you're betrayed by both your mother and your father, your brethren, and all that goes with this. It also, we're going to read into it, but the idea is that this outside world and our skin is going to betray us. We're just being totally, we're going to follow on this particular mode of thinking and just totally be drunken with it. This is that idea of, being, fulfilled with, this business from, the whore, the bitch. Some dog in here. The dog's been shitting on my stuff. It's been living here. And I want to go and get rid of it. Hey! God damn it, in the middle of my work. Oh, let the motherfucker go, man. Luke 21. It means 3, okay? And he looked up and he saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he also saw a poor woman casting in thither 2 mites. And he said, of the truth I say unto you, that this poor widow has cast in more than all of you. And for all of these have in their abundance cast into the offerings of God. But she, of her penury, has cast in all the living she had. That's number 4. So she tossed in her right and the left sides of her brain. This is all she had. That's always they're talking about in here. Number 4, she cast in all she had. 3, this is what you do when you join up with the Lord. She put in her 2 cents worth. You have to understand that that's what the number 2 is about, all right? And then they go on to talk about how pretty the temple is. We've gone through all of this before, and verily I say to you, not one of these stones will lay upon another, and stuff like that. Well, listen, I'm going to show you what these things are. They're representing, they're bringing in Jacob, all right? And because, where do I write that at? It's not in here just yet. So what I want to say to you is that let's go through one of these things. Jacob, later is called Israel. He is the son of Isaac and Rebekah. He is the father of the 12 founders and the 12 tribes of Israel. We're going to break that name down, and that whole thing that they're talking about. Jacob and Esau is his brother. His brother and Jacob are twins. There's your two. Jacob is the one that's the spiritual side of us, and Esau winds up being the red guy. He's born with red hair, and Jacob is holding on to his heel. Jacob is the brother that goes and does all this stuff, just like Moses, his brother Aaron. All right, his brother does a whole lot of work for him, you know. That's how it works. It's the two systems. Even when it comes down to David, King David, and Solomon. Solomon is the preacher, King David is the king. So it's the outside, inside. Always. Isaac, that means his father and his mother. These aren't wives and stuff. This is the higher group. Isaac means laughter and laughed. And this Rebecca means join, to tie together or to snare. All right. So that word snare is very important, because she is the snare. She tries to trick you and bring you up. That's that idea, to snare you. But that snare is the trick. You can go on both sides. Two can play this game, and the devil does. You know, it says in here that you're going to wind up being snared by this outside world. I want you to go in there and read it. I don't want to go through all this because it's just crazy. You know, what I'll do is I'll pick out things that are important. But the outside world becomes the snare, and that it's necessary, that this is the way it goes. I want to show you. It says, ye shall hear of wars, and, you know, this business, you know, you're going to hear the wars. It's not to be terrified. They have to come first in order for you to pass. The word pass, you have to pass away. Remember, we have to kill ourselves and stuff like that in order. None of this generation shall pass until these things happen. Did you catch that in your hearing? No one in this generation, wherever it is, because this is 6,000 years old, will be able to pass until these kind of things, these tribulations and shit like that, are coming about. All right? So, I'm going to bring up another one. This Jacob and Esau. Esau has the red hair. It's the same way it works with Cain and Abel. Cain tills the field. He's the one who's out there working in the garden. And God accepts nothing of his. But his brother, who tends the sheep, is the favorite. It always happens. Jacob and Esau, the same way. Okay, come on, you guys. Boom, boom, boom. These aren't different people. It's all you. All right. And nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Nation and nation, kingdom and kingdom. All right. And to tell you the truth, the way they write this out is this real life world that we live in, that we consider real life world, is the illusion, and that the real life is this side that we have no recollection of, you know, this side. Here's number 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. So they're using his name, but you're being brought up to the outside world. The kings, you're going to be brought into persecution. This is because you're doing, this is total blasphemy for you to have to go in there. You're going to deliver you up to the synagogues. This is to churches and stuff like that. You know, God does not dwell in churches. He's already told you this. All right. This is going to bring in the prisons. All right. And it also tells you that kings and rulers, these are outside things that are outside. This is mankind. All right. And then I thought I would just stop, but it can't. And it shall turn you, it shall turn to you for a testimony. They want you to give something to them. And, you know, we're supposed to be getting something from God. All right? 5. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth of wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay or to resist. This is number 15, that makes number 6. That mouth, that idea, this is the 6th chakra. Do you understand? It's the throat. Alright? I will give you a mouth. Alright? And all your adversaries, whenever you use this, when you bring this up to this part of your mouth, you're saying something like, God save me. Jesus save me. Alright? This is the type of thing. You don't give something to him in order to get something back like money and stuff like that. It just doesn't work that way. You give yourself. You got to kill yourself. You got to give your life to this guy. All right. And so it says here, number 7, when you go about this business, it says on 16, which is number 7, and ye shall be betrayed by both your parents, brethren and the kinsfolk, friends, and some of them shall cause to be put to death. And you shall be hated, and all men in my name's sake. You'll be hated because the male side of you, this male side, doesn't want to go to the other side, and if you wanted to do it, this side is hated. So, this is what it means. It's going to be something that's hated. So you read this part of this chapter, and it's all on the opposite side. But there shall not be an hair of your head perish. What it's saying is that you're going to try to go this way, or this idea that this is what saves you. Not one hair on your head is going to perish. They're talking about you're not going. You'll never make it over to this other side. Not one hair on your head. They're talking about the outside to perish. You're just locked down, baby. And let's see, number 19 begins another story. Not another story, but and it's in your patience poses ye your souls. In your patience poses ye your souls. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then you know that desolation is near. This is where they're saying, when you see the abomination, and that means you should be like getting where is this not working, and stuff like that. And these will be the days of vengeance. They say, wait a minute. Then let them who live in Judea, then those that live in Judea flee to the mountains. Them that were in the midst depart out of it, and let them that are in the country enter not thereinto. Alright, so those pretty parts of your body would take off to the highlands. Those that are in midst, which is, you're on your way, you're at the 6, depart, get the hell out of Dodge, but leave that skin behind. Alright? That skin ain't going nowhere. Alright? For these in these days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. They're saying that you got to go through this crap. But woe to them that are with the child, we've heard this, and give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. It's not going to come. It's a wrath. It's almost like when they talk about that God has left the building. He's left the building. They told us he left the building. All right. And we know the Jewish people are not celebrating and keeping the Sabbath. We know nobody in the Christian faith is doing this either. All right. There is something afoot. All right. But woe to them that are with child. Oh, we already did that. 24. This is what brings me to this story. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and they shall be led away captive into all the nations. And Israel shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. The times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. You know what a Gentile is? A Gentile is someone who is not a Jew. If you know what a Jew is someone who is connected to God. So there is this time of the Gentiles as to be fulfilled. It's like you have to go for some time without being connected to God. All right? Not like he's going to just come right in and get you again. But, you know. Oh, my God, you guys. There'll be signs in the sun and the moon and the earth, perplexity, the seas and waves roaring. They're talking about what happens to us because the outside world is going to give us signs that we are disconnected. All right? And we have got some shitty weather coming in, all this stuff. This is the effect because there's been a fuck up in heaven. There's something afoot, all right? Men's hearts failing from fear, for looking for those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come and pass, then look up your heads, for your redemption draws near. So this first part of this story is telling you that you have to go through this, and then when you start to recognize all of these troubles coming about, it's time to hunker down, time to look up, try to change things. All right. There's this parable of the grafted fig tree. It shows up again later on in the Roman story, all right? But what they're talking about is what was made natural could be grafted and something unnaturally take its place. And of course, in some weird little business that my brain's hard to understand with this dyslexia, one be placed and can be taken place and be put back in and be restored, and God can allow this to happen, that God allows this grafting to happen to you because he can graft you back anytime he wants. All right? So verily I say to you, this generation shall not pass away until all this be fulfilled. So you're not going to be able to kill yourselves until these be fulfilled. This is that idea that men will be wanting to die in the end times, and they just can't. Is anybody's ears working out there? It says, heaven and earth shall pass away, yet my words shall not pass away. When this beautiful thing happens to you, your heaven and earth shall pass away, but the word shall not pass away. Do you realize that Jesus being the word, that makes you the word? You're the word, you are what is written. What is written is you, and it's in your heart. Think about this as we go on with this. It says this idea that heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not. We understand that because this whole idea is to get changed, and Israel winds up being, when Jacob gets changed, which is you, Jacob, we're going to go up there, you're going to change and become Israel, all right? It says, take heed to yourselves, your hearts are overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. So it's telling us really that what has happened to us, you just don't even know it, all right? You just don't even know that we were thrown under the bus on purpose. It's the father. That's why the father puts his kid out there to be killed, all right? His father throws his child under the bus. So, instead of me making fun of, this real intelligent God, tosses his son under the bus for less of something more intelligent thing to do. But in reality, it just helps make the symbolism of this way come to life, Number 35. 7, 8. This is the control part. 8 is a control number. For as a snare shall it come on all of them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. That's the surface. That's the surface. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and stand before the Son of Man. And in the daylight time he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out into the abode, into the mount that is called the Mount of Olives. And blah, 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 blah. We are not going to go into the Roman side of this today. I'll do it tomorrow. I got to go to work. But what's really, really neat, oh my goodness. Let me get back to that. I ran out of paper. I keep running out of things here. Watch ye therefore. Watch, that's that idea. We're watchful. We have to go into meditation. That's a word for meditation. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you be accounted worthy to escape all these things. That's what the stories are all about. Escaping all of these things. What can we do to do this? Shut up. Give that nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Get it gone. Get it over with. I don't know what else I can tell you right now. What happens between Jacob and Esau is that Esau sells his birthright to Jacob. All right. He sells it. Now, his birthright. So Esau gives Jacob his birthright. And remember, we're all birthing things, all right? So Esau, which is really who we are Esau. We send Jacob up because he's in charge of our birthright to do what we sent him to do. And of course, Jesus just winds up being this new guy, this new Esau. Esau and Jacob, the two, they always come in together. The twins, the men of thunder, Simon and them. Well, not Simon, but yes, the first two apostles, the brothers. I used to say that they were Gemini because they were brothers, but it winds up being a little different in the makeup of thing, because that number 2, that duality, doesn't doesn't necessarily just is not just belong to Gemini people. So anyways, I hope that this helped you out a little bit. Go ahead and read ahead of me, because you'll find that this business with the Romans, it's really a breakdown. It's got the same stories in them, a little bit different, but it tells us of this time of the Gentiles that has to come through. And it's just interesting. Go ahead, put your brain and your ear on it, but I'm going to be bringing up that one tomorrow, because it tells us a whole lot about ourselves. All right? This again was Luke 21. Not hooking up. It's talking about right now. And at the end of this story, it says that he was preaching during the daytime. He was teaching this during the daytime. So he's telling us the daytime, this is what's going to happen to you guys that dwell on the earth, Live off the surface, you animals, But in the Roman stories, that does God literally abandon us? And he says, no, he's not abandoning us. This is how it works. This is because they are together. God and this devil thing are together. The destroyer and the creator, or the sower and the reaper. They're together on this, And neither is really all that bad. But one can get it. You don't want to have a lot of sunshine in your life. You burn up, And so we only get a little bit of him. We can only go in here. But this other side, we can swim in this shit forever. Good morning, and Best to you. I love you. This is God's honest truth. I ain't said that in a while. Have a beautiful day.